I'm Jillian.
And I'm Natasha. And this is Mental Mudslide.
Each episode, we slide down the slippery slopes of our minds. I've got some garden gummies, a head full of wild ideas, and zero filters.
And I'm here to ride that wave and see where our mental mudslides take us. It's all about fun, unexpected turns, and a deep dive into the wacky and wonderful.
Before we begin, we wanted to let you know that we are releasing this episode out of sequence because today, August 15th, new developments were released in the case of Matthew Perry's passing, and there were multiple arrests made. As a reminder, Mental Mudslides is just for fun. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
So, Jillian, I heard that recently you were eating a few garden gummies and you came up with kind of a new business idea. Is that right?
I did. I was so inspired in the moment. So do you want to know why I was inspired, or do you want to know the idea?
Oh, give me what the inspiration was first.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So here is what inspired me to do this. So number one, you already mentioned garden gummy at the time, as is right now, because I thought that this would really, really help me explain the stories. Okay. So garden gummy then, garden gummy now. You guys are getting it for real. I just wanted to reenact the full feelings. So here I was.
Can I just mention before you get started? I think we need to give a shout out to Garden Gummy. I think that while you're not currently sponsored by them, I think they should be sponsoring you after this.
Garden Gummies is just the code name for the Colorado Green. It's not a brand name.
What? Well, dang it.
I know you don't social media. It's the social media code name so that you aren't saying the bad word that would get you in trouble. So it's Garden Gummy.
Not only do I not social media, which we'll probably have to get into that at some point in this podcast, but I also don't garden gummy in general. So I have a double mark against me for ever figuring out that would be like a code. Yeah. I just consider me your 70-year-old mother.
Okay. All right. So garden gummy then, garden gummy right now, so that I can retell the story in the same emotional headspace. So I'm bringing you back there. So you're getting real raw. Like, this is what was happening to me. I'm telling you my feelings, man. Okay?
Take us back. Yes.
I love the squiggly line. That woo. Okay. So it was a chilly night. Okay. No. So we're watching Friends.
Okay.
So we're watching Friends, and I, in the moment, had the thought, like, I wonder if they are real friends in life, right? But, like, were they really friends then? And I remember that when Friends was on, because it's important that you know, I did not watch Friends originally when it came out. So when Friends was a thing, I was in the camp of friends don't let friends watch Friends, okay? So that was my vibe. Okay. I was like, oh, cool, people don't watch Friends. That's where I was in life when Friends was on. So I did not watch Friends.
Mudslide Mamas, she was too cool for Friends.
I was too cool for Friends back then, yes. So I did not watch Friends when it was on. But I do remember all of the media attention, but it was media attention that had no meaning to me, right, at the time. So, like, I just remember so much media about it, but I don't grasp any of that media. So I was like, I wonder if they were friends in real life. But I remember hearing a news story where they said, we aren't going to answer. We're so sick of that question. We're not going to answer it anymore, or something like that, right? So
Oh,
now,
interesting.
what?
I said, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was absolutely like a weird like tidbit that's burned in my brain. So then
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, was that at this part in the series? Like how long before they were sick of answering that question? Like, what is the answer to the question? Because like all that I remember is that they didn't want to answer it anymore.
Wait, I need to know, do you have an emotional investment now on whether or not you would be upset or happy if you found out that they were not friends in real life?
I haven't looked. So I still don't know the answer to this question. I
But like, how
feel
would you feel? How would you feel if you found out that they were not actually friends?
that would make me really sad. I wanted them to be friends outside of friends. And I'm
Okay.
going to say I have a couple of pieces of information that I'd like to submit as evidence that I just thought of for
Okay.
why
Okay.
I think they are friends in real life. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So okay.
So
So
you were stalking. You were
okay.
stalking.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, so I remember in real life, if I use my brain and remember what really happened, then I will remember that I heard that they went in and negotiated together for a same salary. So they must have been friends in real life.
Yes. Not only that, but I feel like you have other insider information because you potentially could have caused the death of Matthew Perry. So I think during that
I did.
time,
Well, so this
you
is
may have
part
found
of,
out more about their friendship. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
we'll have to let all the mudslide mamas know about the side story at some point about how you may have
I, I,
triggered the death of Matthew Perry.
he's actually the third celebrity that I've done that for. So, I'm working on Donald Trump right now, y'all.
Anybody, if you have a celebrity that you would like to put in mind, submit it in the comments. Jillian is taking requests on
Okay.
influencing the passing of celebrities.
Yeah.
Should I put a disclaimer in there that this is all in jest?
This
Just
is
in
all
case?
in jest. This is for entertainment, educational and entertainment purposes only. Oh my gosh, Natasha just spit
It just
computer. For everybody listening, I know you couldn't see that, but Natasha just like literally spit. Girl, I hope you're okay. Okay, for all of you mudslide
when you
mamas
said
out there,
educational, it
Natasha
made
and I
me
do not live in the same state. So we do this remotely. Is your computer going to make it, love? I can't see you at all now. There's just water on the top of it.
Oh my God, when you said educational, it was just too much for me. Oh my gosh. So we should also say that we have a lot of opinions and we will fact check nothing unless we feel like it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And
We totally
evidence
spitball
can
in
be
this.
submitted on the spot. You do not need.
It can be, but if we choose not to look at it because we're not interested in knowing the truth, we're not doing it.
Yeah. I am 100%
Yeah.
down for that. Yeah.
We like to live in our own world when we want to, and that's where we'll stay.
Yeah.
So, Jillian,
Yes.
do we want to continue to talk about celebrity murders?
Well, don't you need to know the
celebrity
rest of
death
the
and
inspiration?
Well, on Mental Mudslide, we can go in any kind of direction we want.
It's true. Which one would you like to know?
Path A or Path B? How are you feeling, Garden Gummy? Which way is your heart pulling you? Do you want to tell the folks about the 3 celebrities that you
You know what?
maybe-
Let's go the celebrity route. Let's go the celebrity
Okay,
route because I
number 1.
recently made a TikTok about it and somebody left some comments that I actually have not yet fact checked.
Oh!
Yeah, I don't even know if what they said to me is true or not. So, like, okay,
Yes.
here we go. So, the celebrities that I don't know, like, real life actions and bringing them into my life out of nowhere, right? With that thought. And then within a day, they pass. So, but it
So
has to.
you randomly thinking about them has coincided with their imminent death, their like quick and imminent death.
Yes, which I obviously have absolutely nothing to do with, right? Any of those deaths. But, I mean, like, okay, so let's start with the first one.
Okay.
All right. It was sometime in the 90s.
It was a cold, wintry night. Just kidding.
Actually, I think it was winter. Okay, so we were watching a movie or something, right? And at my parents' house, because I was still in high school, or maybe younger. Maybe I was in middle school. I don't even know. I'm not sure what type of school I was in, but I still lived at home.
This gift has been with you since early on in life, is what you're saying.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. So we're watching a show. We turn off the show. And this is back when your TV, when you turned off cable or a movie with the DVD player for all of our youngers out there. Then your TV, which had cable, would be on. When you turned off the movie, it would just go to TV, right? Because the accessory to the TV was not attached, okay? So my mom turns off the movie that we're watching, and the TV comes on, and it was on a news channel because I think Channel 4 was always news or something like that, and that's what the TV defaulted to. So, and it was Princess Diana's death, right? Yeah. And
were you watching a movie about her before that? So
just before that, my mom and I had talked about how when I was little, she, as a baby, she stayed up with me all night because I was so colicky. And while she couldn't sleep, she watched the entire wedding of Princess Diana when I was a baby. So here I am as a teenager. She's telling me the story about a baby. It's the first time I had heard that story. Came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. So Princess Diana came out of nowhere because she told me about that colicky time. And then Princess Diana dies within 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And yeah. So then a day or two goes by, and my mom is still really upset about this. Like it's really, really bothering her, like on an extreme level.
The whole world was kind of incredibly upset. I've known people whose moms went into like a depression over her death.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I said to my mom, we were driving in our station wagon. It was blue, by the way. I feel like that's a detail you need. And yes. My mom on the way to town was like talking about like how upset she was still. And it had been days or maybe a day. It felt like a long time for, an American to be upset about this to me, my teenage self. And I was like, Mom, why are you so upset about this? It's not like Mother Teresa died. Do you know, Natasha, the very next day, Mother Teresa died.
Yes, and it was kind of a little bit overshadowed by Princess Diana's death. I remember this.
But
I mean, it happened and it was still very famous, but like, yeah.
Yeah. And so those were the first two. So now let's take you right back up here to like right now. I want to talk about like in the last couple of weeks because I made a TikTok about this story that I just told you.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Matthew Perry one.
Not yet. We got to get there, but we slid. Okay, you need to know this. So right now, a couple days ago, I made a TikTok about the story I just told you about Princess Diana and Mother Teresa. Mm-hmm. And so I posted that onto TikTok, and somebody commented and said, Mother Teresa was a terrible human. Go look it up. And I was like, okay, And I don't know. Do I want to go ruin like
No, what
my
Russian robot? What Russian robot was trying to do this to you? How rude! No, don't do it.
Do you think Mother Teresa was good or bad? Like, what is your experience from your
I
memory, from what you were exposed to and what you knew? Like, I don't know if it's
Yes.
true or false, and I will probably have to go research this because then I'm going to feel really bad that I held her
To
in a
be
different
honest,
regard.
I don't actually know. Like, I mean, everything that happened in that time frame, it's just word of mouth or what you kind of heard as a kid. Do you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
remember her like visiting children a lot. That's all I remember about her. Kind of like Princess Diane or Diana. Is it Diane or Diana? Diane, right?
Diana.
Diana, son of a. Anyway, um, yeah, but so I don't really know for sure. But what I can say is I don't want to know if it turns out she was actually a bad person. Why would I want to like change my perception of that?
Right.
Especially, why would people be like, "Oh, you're not Mother Teresa"? Why would people say that so often? That's a saying. That's a catchphrase. Why would that be a thing if that was a totally terrible human being? I believe she even reached like sainthood, didn't she? Like, wasn't she like sainted? Like, I just feel like step back a second. Nobody's perfect. Okay. So maybe she's not this saint, but it sounds like she did a lot of decent things in her life, right?
I mean,
Like, so
that's what I heard, right? That's what I heard too. So, like,
she was a nun, she was giving, she cared about kids, she went and visited kids, blah, blah, blah. That's what I know.
yeah,
That's what I know about.
that's what I know too. But the other day, this TikTok, I was like, do I
Don't give
go
that
look it
person
up?
power.
What?
Don't give that person power. Don't give that person power. You know what I mean? They're probably just trying to like see if they can influence you and like get under your skin.
Okay,
Do you know what
so
I mean?
if I have that memory of it, here's the thing. If I don't know if she was good or bad, what does that mean for me using a phrase like you're like Mother Teresa or something? Like now am I at risk of using a derogatory term toward people?
Do you still use that regularly?
No,
Is
but
that
what if
something
I did? I just need to know the rule ahead of time.
I think people will understand the context of what you're trying to say
I
if
like
you
it.
use
I
that
like
word.
it. Thanks.
Yeah.
I honestly, Natasha, I appreciate that permission to exist in that space because like I feel
Yeah.
like I couldn't
No,
make
I
a
know
decision on the
you.
moral compass. I'm
Yeah. I think you're gonna look it up anyway if I know you.
probably gonna look it up.
If my life experience with my Jilly Bean tells me anything, I think the itch is gonna be too much to not scratch, and you're gonna go like look it up.
I
But
might.
yes,
Here's the only thing. If I write it down, there's about a 10% chance I'll remember to look it up. If I don't write it down, there's a 0% chance I'll
let
remember
me
to
put it
look
to you
it
this
up.
way. You taught me a lot about the term cheers, right? About cheersing when you're drinking. And people still say cheers all the time. Is it technically correct anymore? No, but people know what the fuck you're talking about when you say cheers. They know what to do, they know the intent, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be accurate for it to be an understood saying.
Okay. All right. Should we go back to the 90s?
Oh, sure. Was there another death in the
There
90s?
was another death in the 90s.
Shut the front door. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
Blind Melon, the band, Shannon
Mm-hmm.
Hewen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so one of my high school friends and I were like, oh my God, he's so awesome. Like, this is so great. Like, he should live forever. Kurt Loder was on MTV the next morning.
So you jinxed him. You jinxed him.
He
Oh
OD'd when
no.
I thought about him.
Oh gosh. How much were you thinking about him back then though? Like, is it truly like just out of the blue? Or do you think it's because the day before you literally said the words, we think he should live forever? Is it that part of it?
I feel like that
Yeah.
one is that part of it, right? It's a little bit
Yeah.
more because
Fair.
I still to this day feel very
Mm-hmm.
strongly that that is one of my favorite songs of all time. No Rain by Blind Melon.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
reason why is because that is like almost like a cornerstone song in who I am. It takes me back to that time and what I was feeling, and like all of those feelings. Like there's no other song for me that transports me back to that moment, and one that I wasn't really that in love with. Like I was not in a happy space at that time. But I really love that song, and I think part of that is because it forces me to see how far I came from that like space of being kind of meh, right? Angsty teen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you say that. Yeah, you're right. There are certain songs, and you can never predict what the song is going to be, even if it's a song you don't like, but certain and ones that you do, right? But there's certain songs that just like might even take you back to a very specific moment, right? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yep.
Any other celebrities that you feel responsible for their deaths?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yes, Natasha, there's another.
Do you have your rosary? It's time for confession. Let's go.
I feel like I'm forgetting one in between.
Matt Perry.
Yeah,
Matthew Perry.
No, that's where we're headed.
Oh, you have more.
I feel like we're forgetting one, but I can't remember it right now, so I'll get back to you if I think of anybody else. But
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah. You know, that kind of time of year in Colorado where you don't really want to go outside, and it was kind of an icky winter. So we were hibernating. And during this hibernation, we consumed a lot of garden gummies because honestly, like that whole part of the year was just Slothville. Okay. Like it could have been a Tuesday, it could have been a Saturday. I don't know.
You were in the garden gummy time hole, you know? Yeah.
For like a month. And so we had the day off, whatever day it was. I don't know. And we were like, what should we do with our day? And it was really icky out, like stormy, didn't want to go out, didn't really have any errands to run or anything else. And we decided to start a Friends marathon. Yeah. We binged like 12 hours of Friends in one day.
I understand that completely. I did that
kind
with
of
Game
shocked
of Thrones.
by 12 hours of Friends.
No, I've done that with Game of Thrones. I've done that with some Korean soap operas. So I feel you. I get it.
Okay, let me change something. I need you to take this into consideration before you say you feel me. Okay. 12 hours of Game of Thrones is 12 episodes. 12 hours of Friends at 18 minutes an episode.
It's still 12 hours, regardless of the number of episodes.
It doesn't matter. It's so many
Still
more
12
episodes. You have so many more mental chances to get up and walk away from that. There are so many more times when you could stop being a slog. Like a sloth.
At the same time, you're like, oh, but just one more. It's so short. Whereas in Game of Thrones, every time you restart it, you know you have at least an hour to go. So frankly, I think the shorter ones are harder to get out of because it's like that slot machine thing. Oh, it's just another 18 minutes. I can do one more episode, right?
That's a really good perspective. That's a good perspective.
You've done just one more episode like 15 times.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So you had done 12 hours of Friends binging.
Yes.
This was your first binge of Friends, right? This was like from the beginning because you were saying that you didn't watch Friends back in the day.
Yeah, we started it. Although I do need to say, I feel like somehow the autoplay thing, like it skipped a few episodes because I was like, kind of like, wait, what happened? Like, did we see that part? Or did I like black out because I ate too many garden gummies? Like, I don't know.
Your mind just started trailing off into business ideas. So
that's probably
you come
very
back around
true
to the
too. Okay, so we turn it off.
We'll call it Friday. We'll just say, so Friday, you're like, we're gonna binge watch
Yeah.
Or we're going to start a Friends binge and you watch 12 hours of it, right?
Yeah, straight through. That's
Okay.
all we did that day.
Okay.
We turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And we get on TikTok. And we're scrolling on TikTok. And that's when we learned that Matthew Perry had been found dead in his hot tub.
All I can say is I'm glad I'm not famous.
Right? But okay,
it's just so random because it's not like
I'd
you were
never
basically
sat
new to
down to
Friends.
watch Friends before. Like, I had caught an
Right.
episode here or there or something, but I had never, because I missed it the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's apparent that you did not turn yourself in because we're still doing this podcast today.
So, Natasha, do you want to remind me of any celebrities or?
God, did OJ just died this week? Was that you?
As brand new podcasters, it took a little while to figure out how to do a bunch of things. And we were really busy this summer, so you're not crazy. OJ died all the way back in April. We just recorded this a while ago. Okay, back to the story.
No, actually, that one I was kind of surprised. I did, however, I was so excited to hear my mom's reaction, which I knew she would be upset by, that as soon as I saw it pop up on, I think either I saw it on TikTok or like Facebook, or I saw it like on some notification or something, I don't know, on my phone. Mm-hmm. As soon as I saw it, I literally called my mom immediately. Like, I was like, Mom, because I wanted to know exactly how she was going to react, and she delivered.
Oh my gosh, how did she react? Tell me. Oh my gosh.
She was like, what? Oh my gosh. And then she read me every single bit of news as she went into it. Oh my God, Dawn, did you know? Did you know that OJ, like, it was...
Was she just shocked, or was she like excited or upset, or just shocked?
She was just kind of shocked. Like, it was like this huge like celebrity point that like she was so involved in that case. She watched it like start to finish. We had VHS tapes of it. Like yeah. It was so like part of her like years of her like a year or more of her life that she was completely invested in this, that it felt like a huge loss, I think, to her. Yeah
that makes sense. There's different things that hit people like that. There's been a lot of things over the years, you know. 9/11, OG's murder trial. Yeah, but I think that there's a lot of touch points like that in people's lives, you know, along the way, good or bad, that like really make a mark on them. So
totally.
I see that. Like, I'm sure people, when they first got electricity in their house, that's got to be a milestone. Could you imagine? Could you imagine being alive when you first were able to get electricity in your house?
No.
Like, it's gotta be, you know what? This is so sad. I'm gonna say it anyway. Fuck it. It's gotta be on it's gotta be bigger than like when the first smartphones came out. People were like, oh my God, I have a computer right here that I can take with me. Look at all the shit my phone can do. Right. Like, it's gotta be that big.
Yeah.
It's gotta be bigger.
Totally.
Could you imagine just like being like, I don't have to use fire to see at night?
Right.
I don't have to start a fire to walk from one room to the other.
Right.
With light?
It's crazy.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So insane.
Well, I'm glad to know that your murder streak has subsided. There have not been any deaths in 2024 that we know of that were, you know, related to any thoughts
No.
or imaginations of Jillian.
No.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't, nothing has popped in out of the blue for me. So here begs the question, Natasha, that I think maybe we should
Yes.
consider. And this could maybe be the jumping off point for our next episode.
Okay.
Does that mean that I should try and remember everybody that I can as frequently as I can? Or do you think that the universe is just going to take care of that process as it's supposed to?
Oh no, Jillian, if you ever die, does that mean no celebrity will ever die again?
I have no idea.
Yep. I think we should also, I'd really like to talk about more edibles
Okay.
and things like that in our next episode. I want to talk to you about saliva candy. I need your thoughts and understanding on this. And should I purchase it? Does it help with pleasure in the boudoir?
Saliva
Does it?
Candy?
Yes.
I know nothing of this. I am looking forward to the
cool.
education portion of the education.
I don't know. I saw a commercial for it, and I'm like, people are taking it for dry to like help them relieve their dry mouth, but they're also trying to find like new fun ways to use it, like in the boudoir.
So it's candy that you put in your mouth and it helps all of that, or you have to
Salivate.
Yeah, it helps you salivate everywhere.
I don't really know. So we need to do a little research on it. I just saw an ad for it, but I'm fascinated and I can't wait to see. And I want to know if it really works. And I feel like if you're interested in it, I feel like you would like try it. Do you know
I'll
what
try
I mean?
it. I'll try
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for the podcast and I'll report back.
But you won't be able to talk because then I feel like you'll just have like a river of spit flowing out of your mouth. Kind of like me earlier when I spit all that water out. I think that's going to be you. Oh, okay. Well, I think that, yes, so we'll talk about that. I think we can talk about other like adjacent to cannabis topics, like related to but adjacent to, right? Like I found some cannabis perfume,
I love
scented,
it.
but it doesn't have the effect, it just has the scent apparently. But are there fragrances that actually have the effect of, right? These are questions that are just drilling holes in my mind that I need answers to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. Well, if any of
Okay.
you listeners would like to weigh in on what our next starting point out of all of those amazing suggestions from Natasha are, please leave a comment and we will take that into consideration as we start down next episode of Mental Mudslides.
Bye.
Bye.